Hello and welcome back to the Blend podcast. I'm your host, Mike Raff. Our guest today is Dave Massey, a man whose journey has taken him from his family roots in the trade to running a booming business and facing some of the toughest mental challenges along the way. It's an incredible story of resilience, personal growth and finding balance in a world where work, family and personal well-being can often feel at odds. For those of you heading to the Blend 2024, you'll get to hear even more from Dave as he takes to the stage to share his hard-earned wisdom. I'm pretty sure many of us can relate to the strains of balancing family, business and life in general, so ahead of that I'm delighted to welcome him onto the Blend podcast. Dave, how are you?
I'm absolutely superb, mate. Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you for coming on. Before we get into this episode, could you take us back to how you first got into the industry?
I've got to say, I fell into this industry out of love for motorsport, love for cars, loyalty to my family and my dad. I started working for my dad when I was a knee high of a grasshopper, I think is a saying. Back then in like sort of the mid 80s, late 80s, we couldn't really afford a babysitter, so I had to go to work with my dad. I was forced into child labour, and I could fit in under the bonnets. We used to do a lot of Range Rover, a lot of the V8s, and I was so small at that point. My dad used to throw me up on top of the engines, and I could reach down and burn my hands and change the spark plug. So it was kind of forced child labour from a young age, and I kind of fell in love with cars. Didn't do particularly well at school, so then I had no choice but to work in the automotive industry, of course. Back then, it was a bit of a stigma. So, no, it was a bit of an accident, but I found out, I quite love this game, and I've done quite well out of it.
So your parents then were hugely influential in your early career?
Oh, massive, mate, massive. I think my dad deserves a huge amount of kudos, and he is a legend because he's a pioneer of our industry. He shone the light into the darkness. He was the first guy to introduce certain test techniques which are used throughout the world today, really. He shouldn't have patented them, but he swam against the tide. And as a father figure, a man I've always admired and respected. Not always seen eye to eye with him, and we've had our well documented issues, but rubbing heads. But that's probably a clash in personalities, and then not unusual for father and son to do that. But I think the much more mature I am, the older I get, the fact I'm married, got my own children, I certainly admire my father very much, and I respect him greatly. So there's a huge influence on my life. My mum got involved with the business later, and again, she really kind of led the way with her entrepreneurial, unstoppable personality and her drive in business. It put ADS on the global map, which, fair to say, presented a lot of other problems without drove a wedge in our family with the pressure and what we did. But in terms of global recognition, what we did with the company, we went global for sure.
Amidst that business success, you've already alluded to some family issues, shall we say. And it takes me back to Tom Cocking's talk at the Blend last year about his father-son struggles. And for anyone listening that missed out on that, we spoke to Tom at length on the Blend podcast. So go back and give that episode a listen because it's a good one. Dave, it sounds like something that you can relate to.
Yeah, it really is. Like what I used to define as success in business, what I define as success now, look completely polarised and different. I would say success to me now is health, both mentally and physically, and time with my family, as opposed to financial success. A wise man once said, "You've only got one arse. You're going to sit in one room at a time. There's no point having a big fancy house." So I live my life in a very modest fashion in terms of I'm not ostentatious. Don't want a big fancy car. Don't want a big house. To me, I value time with my family, making memories, and that's a price that my father, I think, paid, and I paid, and we all paid as family. We were so busy with the business, with the training operation, the e-learning, the R&D development, and the running of a commercial workshop. I think as a family, I've talked about it loads and I've been well documented, but it destroyed and ripped apart my family. Was it worth it? No. Would I do it again? No. Which is why I'm taking more of a backseat in the business. I'm focusing more on my health, again, physically and mentally, and I'm trying to dedicate as much, not just time, Mike, but I'm trying to dedicate as much quality time with my family. You know, it's all right to sit around the table, but are you really present? Are you sober? Are you engaged with your children? And I think that's an important question we've got to ask. As businessmen and women, as leaders, as business owners, we can carry a lot of weight, a lot of pressure on our shoulders, and it's important when we sat with family, be it on a holiday, be it at the dining table, be it in the park. You know, if you're pushing that swing, make sure you're paying attention to what you're doing and you're engaged. And it's the little moments you have around the table what matter and build and sow the fabric of relationships. And for too many years, I think, with how busy I was in business, growing the empire, growing ADS, growing the name, I wasn't present.
I think this rings true for many small independent business owners, especially those running family businesses. At which point did you first feel the mental strain starting to take its toll?
The 2011, my mum, who was a senior director in the business, there was three of us, me, mum and dad, and we had the training side, we had the commercial workshop side, and I was focusing on the workshop. Now, my mum sadly passed away in 2011, and she was a major driving force, influence, not only in my life, but in the business. So I had some pretty hard decisions to make. I wanted to push my dad out of the company, because I had my own visions of where I wanted the business to be. Given our skill, reputation, and assets, I thought we could do so much better commercially as a workshop and not depend on training. And I think there was a lot of deep resentment there as well towards my father at the time, with what happened with mum and dad and the way she left and what happened on a personal front, which I won't go into, but there was a lot of resentment at the time, so I wanted to push away and do something different. I was actually in the TA at the time, Territorial Army, going through, I didn't know, but when I was in the TA, we could join the SAS part-time. You've got two full-time regular SAS guys, and you've got 3, which is part-time. So basically, you can be James Bond at the weekends. And I thought, that's me all over. Brilliant, we'll have a bit of that. So I was going through SAS selection, part-time, 2-3 SAS. And I was doing really well in training. I quit that. My mum wanted me to run the business, take over, and she kind of made me promise. I wish I told her to bugger off, but I didn't. I think I used the word bound by loyalty and, trapped by duty, really. But I said no to the army, because I wanted to separate myself from the business and go full time into the army, because I was sick of it. And the fighting, the falling out, working with family, such a close proximity, in a pressure cooker, in a microscope, I think was too much for me. So I wanted out. I wanted to run away and escape, but I didn't. I went further in. I don't know why, but I did. And I met my beautiful wife, 2011, set up ADS in its current format like you see today, bought my dad out of the company, formulated a business plan, built a website, which was the cat's pajamas. That grew the company. It grew like overnight. And we're talking about a 300% increase in business in a 3-month period. So it went from like a small operation, 1,200 square foot workshop, into a 6,000 square foot workshop with multiple RAMs, multiple techs. And I went from being a technician to an entrepreneur business owner. And that was a very, very, very steep learning curve. And I made lots and lots of mistakes. I think it looked shiny from the outside. It looked great. I was living the life, Instagram, Facebook, social media. People looking in and thought, this guy knows what he's doing. I didn't. I felt fraudulent because the business was struggling, and I had problems dealing with that because everyone was telling me I was a legend and like the answer and the leader and all the rest of it, and people looked at me like what I did. I was able to help people facilitate growth in their business quite easily through marketing, but in terms of mental health, physical health, that deteriorated bad. I think behind the scenes I was suffering.
We'll get into that shortly if you don't mind, but I think it's important to distinguish what was happening behind the scenes and what was happening from the outside, because business was booming, so much so that you were subject to a couple of HMRC investigations.
Yeah, we were investigating twice, and I thought, because we bloody well were. And when we first moved to the new site, the new building, it went from like 1,200. we were turning over 100 grand, 150 grand a year, 200 grand a year maybe, whatever. And we went from that to about 500k in about 3 months. So HMRC went, hello. And I couldn't quite figure out why we're investigating twice in 6 months. I'm thinking, what's the crack here? But yeah, they came in and they opened up all the drawers and all the paperwork and looked around everywhere and found out, no, actually, this guy knows what he's doing in business. And I thought, I've got the solution. I've got the answer. But yeah, we were very successful.
Were you surprised by the speed of your success?
Massive. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. I talked about it a lot as well, and I shared that success with people, and I told them, but, all right, success. Perhaps looking back, would I call it success now? I'd call it growth, for sure. Was it successful? Not really. Because of the operating cost increase and the stress on my life, and I wasn't prepared for it, and, we had to kind of hit the ground running. I assembled a brilliant team. And I mean, a brilliant team. We had front of house guys, technical guys, performance guys, technicians in the workshop. It was just living the dream, man. It was wicked. It was like surfing this wave of like success and a lot of good memories from back then. But I didn't look after myself at all, and a lot of burnout, a lot of long hours, and yeah, abusing myself. Really, is the best way I could describe it. But it was still an interesting time. I've learned a lot. But hey, that's life. We go through journeys and we jump over hurdles and we get to where we are.
What went wrong during that period then?
Cash flow. Managing cash flow was a big problem. Managing staff, managing friends in the business was difficult for me at that time. That wasn't straightforward. Managing and balancing my health and family life. I've been a very, very fit, active, healthy guy. Mountaineering, obviously in the TA and SNS selection, because I was mega fit back then, and I just made bad decisions really in terms of lifestyle choices, alcohol, food. I wasn't training in the gym because I was too busy at work, trying to balance what I had left of my family life. I'm very, very fortuitous in the fact I've got not only a beautiful wife, but someone who understands and supports me in every way, and she's been my rock and my inspiration. And the reason why I do this, and we were lucky enough, blessed to have 2 beautiful children. So then that just carried on and inspired me even greater to do more and be great or chase greatness. But unfortunately, I neglected myself on that journey. I thought simply by providing for my family, I was ticking the quota and doing my job. But in reality, I think the modern role in women in our society, I think there's a lot more demands on families. I think the demands on men are far greater now than they've ever been. We're not just here to support the family financially. We need to be available spiritually, emotionally, and up our game, because women are working full time as well as men, as chasing careers, and women are expected to do a career, look after the children, look after the home, and support a romantic idea of a marriage. And I think that's unrealistic. And I think as men, we have far more, a greater responsibility now more than ever to be there as a partner.
I think you're right, and I'm sure you'll go more into that at the Blend on Saturday, because you are, of course, speaking at the Blend. Let's chat about that in a minute, but before that, here's a quick message from another Dave at the Race Group.
Hi guys, sorry to interrupt your podcast. I'm Dave Roberts from the Race Group, and we can't wait to see you at the Blend on Saturday the 28th of September. Being from the Race Group in Castrol, you've probably noticed over many years now we've always been the gold sponsor, and we're always proud to support such a key event in the diary for you guys. I'm only just jumping on here quick just to sort of give you an insight into what to expect from Castrol and the Race Group at the Blend. In one of the breakout sessions, we'll be conducting a presentation. This presentation is mainly based around implications of the wrong oil surrounding wet belts, DPFs. So we're going to go into depth on those two in particular. We're also going to be showcasing our Castrol engine shampoo. This is something that hasn't really been marketed that much. It is an oil flush, but we'll also give you the advantages on why ours is probably a little bit better than some of the current ones on the market today. It does come with a difference, and the main one is it's solvent-free, whereas the ones that are mainly on the market today contain solvent. We'll also give you an update as well on some new formulations for specific oils. I'll give you an example. Castrol Edge 020 Long Life 4. We've now got your VAG 508, 509, Mercedes-Benz 229.71 and 229.72. We've also got your BMW LL17 FE Plus spec in there, and we've also got a Ford spec in there. You're probably wondering why there's a Ford spec. Come and speak to us and you'll find out. Also, what you can expect from Castrol and the Race Group this year, because we're celebrating 125 years of Castrol, we're going to be running it through the complete heritage. So we've got a stand there for Castrol Classics. We're also keeping it current in modern day motor vehicle trend. We've also got up-to-date oils today's market is all about. And we've also got the future of EV. So we've got Simon Gurney there who will be demonstrating some of the fluids that the Castrol EV contain and also how they operate within your EV vehicles. Come and visit our stand. We've got so much to give away. If you sign up to Castrol service on the day, you've been with a chance of winning a classic office chair and a Castrol Classic sofa. We've got social media giveaways. Like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and you can win a barrel table and chairs. And also, come and visit our stand and you'll be in with a chance of winning a signed football and a framed shirt. Look forward to seeing you all there. Come and speak to us. Don't be shy. Now back to Dave Massey at the podcast.
Thanks, Dave. And as you say, now back to Dave Massey. Lots going on at the Blend again this year.
I mean, you've got a network of arguably the best, most invested garages in the country. So what you'll learn at the event is great, but what you'll learn from the people that attend the Blend is probably worth... I can't put a price in it, really. The networking events that we've organised, or to inform in the past, you know, it's about the audience, about who attends. And you look across the room and you talk about chasing greatness, you'll see people there, you think, bloody, that's a good idea. Or, you know, and you take inspiration from so many different sources. It's just a melting pot of success in garages who aspire to be greater. And that rubs off on you and your business. So if you're looking to attend an event to grow your business, to grow yourself, and you aspire for greatness, there's no better event in the world at this for our industry. We're blessed to have it in this country. The people are organising, the people are involved with it. I'm privileged to be a part of it. It's just a unique opportunity you must not miss. Simple as that.
Many of those attending will likely be on their way to the Eastside Rooms while listening to this episode. So tell us what you're planning to share with us.
Well, on the application form, it was funny because on the application form, because I know Alex and Ray so well, and they know I'm like a bit of a nutter. So on the application form, it says previous experience. So I put down captain of a nuclear submarine, flower arranger, dolphin waxer, sex guru. And I put out some really quirky answers. Have a bit of a laugh. They looked at him and probably thought, what an idiot. We're not going to give him a slot. So when they announced all the speakers and I was on the list, I was like, Ray, what are you doing? And he went, well, the application form was, you know, come on, Ray, I was joking. I didn't know what I was going to talk about. And to be fair, I didn't at the time. So we had a good laugh with Ray and a good chat. I said, look, I won the end slot over dinner. He went, right, I'll see what I can do for you. Pull some strings. I went, it'll be worth it, Ray. You know what I'm like. So we're going to talk about what I've recently discussed about what I define as success in business and about prioritising health, time with family, quality time, and just to remind us dads and business owners, there's a big price to pay when we say yes to business, and we've got to understand what we say no to. So I want to have a sharp, sudden reminder of our obligations as dads, as husbands, and we need to be more present at home as well as in the business. So you need to draw a line, and I'm going to hammer that message home, and you know, just inspire fellow dads, fellow business owners that listen. Kids need us just as much as customers, and more so. And the sacrifice, being on the receiving end of it as a son in business and now as a father in business, it's a message which resonates with me deeply. And also, out of all the people I've worked with in my consultancy business, I've interviewed, you know, maybe thousands of guys I've spoke to. Everyone I've said, you know, what regrets do you have in business? 99.99% of them will always turn around and say, I wish I spent more time with the kids. And I'm like, right, okay. So something needs to be said and something needs to be done. So here I am.
You're on an admirable mission, Dave. Deep down, we all know that there's only so much time we can dedicate to work, family, or personal growth. Acting on that understanding is, of course, the hard bit. But what's less commonly known, and something you'll be exploring in your session at the Blend, is how diet impacts your performance of whatever it is you choose to do with your time.
Well, enormously. I mean, my wife really, now she doesn't work and takes care of the family unit at home, which is why I bought Eldertree in the first place, to support the family. she has become absolutely obsessed with nutrition. So Andrew Huberman, who's a neuroscientist from America, very interesting guy, talks a lot about nutrition. So she's dedicated her life now to feeding us the best food, the best nutrition, the best sleep cycle. We've got a sauna, ice bath at home. So we're very much a holistic family in terms of the way we operate and where we live our lives. Good routine, good diet, and that really has been instrumental in the success and growth of the business, and also the success and growth of the family and the way we are together at home. Happiness starts in the gut. Our industry, we put our health last a lot of times. Nicotine, addiction problems, drinking, fast food. You look at a lot of garages, they're so busy, they'll order food in and just eat now. They'll get pizzas, takeaways, McDonald's, KFCs. They'll get fast food into the business at last notice. We are looking to absolutely change the game and pioneer, lead the way. We've got healthy eating schemes at work, private healthcare schemes that we're going to introduce, gym memberships. Got a protein bar downstairs so we can have protein shakes, protein bars, access to healthy food. We've banned fast food on the site at work, so no fast food is allowed on the site. Water stations. So I'm taking health, nutrition to a whole new level.
And Dave, you won't mind me saying this is in stark contrast to how you were living.
For me, I was using alcohol on Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday. It was a 7-day-a-week habit, and I was using it all for the wrong reasons. I was using it excess as well, so it really led to terrible health. So for me, I've had to give it a big no. And now I can regulate it, limit it. I'm using it for different reasons. I'm using it to enjoy a glass of wine. When you're watching the sunset in Chianti, or when you're out for an anniversary meal with your wife, enjoy a glass of wine, sure, but not using wine to mitigate stress is what I would say. In our industry, dopamine addiction, whether it be through drugs, alcohol, scrolling on your phone, dopamine is dopamine. Doesn't care how you get it. And unfortunately, it's a big issue now, not just in the motor trade, but in life in general, and it's something that needs to be talked about. I think nutrition is a cornerstone of that as well. Good nutrition, and managing your dopamine addiction, be it on your phone, alcohol or drugs, gambling, it's all the same. It needs to be discussed and talked about because it's epidemic. And if you look at the stats, the stats through Ben Charity and mental health, our industry employs about 800,000 people on the last count, give or take. 43% of those people are actively seeking help for mental health, and that's what we know about. So you think how many people are really suffering. Suicide rates in men is increasing year on year. There's not enough help available, not enough knowledge available. So I want to kind of break the silence on that, the taboo on that, and talk about it openly, talk about addiction, talk about alcohol abuse, so on and so forth, because a lot of people that need help who aren't getting it.
For anyone listening who feels this resonates with their own life, maybe they're feeling trapped in a downward spiral, trying to balance family responsibilities with keeping customers happy and paying wages, what's the first step they should take to break free from that downward spiral?
That's a brilliant question, mate. Superb. It's a difficult one. For me, I always knew what I had to do, but couldn't do it because I wasn't sleeping. I didn't sleep for 4 years. I'm averaging maybe 1 hour a night. So even though I wanted to go to the gym, once I had my breakfast at 11 o'clock in the morning, because I've been in bed lying in because I didn't sleep the night before, I couldn't, because I was almost like I was in treacle in mud. So the first steps were difficult for me. But I will say this, make smart decisions. So if alcohol's a big issue, stop drinking. After a week, 2 weeks, you'll start to feel infinitely better. Then you might have enough energy to go to the gym. Don't try and do too much at once. The best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. And like I said before, best advice I can give you is 1% improvement every day. David Brailsford, the Ineos group, Team Sky, he looked at making, rather than big changes, he made 1% improvement in different areas. If you do it 100 times, you're 100 times better, aren't you? So just make little changes. The nutrition you're eating, stop drinking. If you can't run, go for a walk. If you can't walk, go for a bike ride. Go for a swim. Just get your little wins in the morning. Get up in the morning. Just make better decisions. Eat well. You have your first meal. and just start from there. And for me, being so fit and healthy, and then losing all that fitness, gaining loads of weight, getting type 2 diabetes, gaining insomnia, being depressed, being alcohol dependent. I went from being like a superhero to a super couch potato, and I find it difficult to take those first steps. I was tired all the time, lethargic, but I got out of it. I had good friends around me, I had a good wife to support me, always believed in me, never gave up, and I was able to get myself back in good shape. Lost loads of weight, I'm back boxing again. I'm back in the gym 3 times a week. I climbed the mountain this weekend, which I thought I'll never do again. So it is possible. You can do it. I'm not the first guy to do it. You know, many people have well documented journeys. I take a lot of inspiration from guys like Davey Goggins, Jocko Willick, a lot of the Navy SEAL guys. You know, it is doable. You can turn your life around. You've got to believe in yourself and just take little steps. It's a process.
Where do you think you'd be now if you didn't yourself make smarter decisions, as you put it?
I'd be dead. I wouldn't be here.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that you went through such a painful experience. That takes an incredible amount of strength.
I'd have been dead. I'd have been dead. No question about it. I was heading down. I was hospitalised multiple times. My health went to such a bad point. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't sleep at night. I tried to take my own life anyway. I just didn't want to be here anymore. I was going on a dead end path, and it wasn't going to end well at all. And I had a big wake up moment, big wake up moment. And I was scared, mega scared, and I realised I had to do something.
So what did you do after that wake up call?
Got my ass back in the gym. I started releasing some natural dopamine, some natural endorphins. I bought a cold plunge, I bought an ice bath, bought a sauna. Again, better diet, step by step, day by day, inch by inch. I clawed back.
Thank you for sharing something so deeply personal. It's incredibly important for others to hear your story.
I think I'm one of the first in our industry to talk about the taboo subjects. I'm very proud to talk about it and share my insights. Take one for the team, as it were. And I hope people realise you can get it back. And despite how shit things are at the minute and how bad things are and where you are in life and in health, you can get it back. You just got to want to do it. And you've got to walk your own path. You can't be told what to do. I can sit here and tell you what you can do, but it's up to you now. You are the architect of your own destiny, really, your own future. You're going to shape it how you want. But, you know, if you've got loved ones, not only depending on you, but people you want to spend time with, and you've got things in life you've not accomplished yet and done, you've got to use that as a fuel and go and do it. And you can. Trust me, you can do it.
A really powerful story, Dave. We should say for anyone who may themselves be struggling, it's so important to reach out for help. And there is, of course, our very own industry charity, Ben, which is an excellent starting point if you're looking for some support. Dave, thanks so much for sharing your story with us.
My absolute pleasure. I've enjoyed it, mate. Yeah, spot on.
And I look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
If you can buy me a lime and soda.
I'll do that. Thanks also to you all for listening. I'm hoping to catch up with many of you at the Blend, so if you see me with the mic in hand, be sure to say hi and let's have a chat. Safe journey all, and we'll see you there.